So just a quick disclaimer before this video starts. I did record a intro in the menu, but I accidentally have deleted the footage. So yeah, big L on me, but I didn't add any more upgrades. It's just you saw it all in the preseason videos. So if you're going to enjoy, leave a like, subscribe. Let's get F1 22 Mighty and Career Mode Part 1 here from the Bahrain Grand Prix. So yes guys, here we are for F1 22 Mighty and Career Mode Part number 1, Bahrain Grand Prix. You know the drill. Well, you don't because it's a new series. But dry weather, got loads of upgrades on the car, 2 upgrades pending, which will come before, not Jeddah. The 6th best car, FP1 now. It's really rushed because I haven't done an intro, or well, I have, but yeah. Anyway, as in the background, we have done practice program. Got track acclimatization, got the green score on it, and we finished the session without not that many R&D points, so I had to do some quick practice. We finished P8 at the end of FP1, but we managed to get all the resource points we needed as now we head into qualifying. Right then, so here we are for the first qualifying session of the season. I'm going to show you my setup. I used Sparks as a reference, but we're running 1725 wings, as you can now go from 1 to 50. We're in 150 on the transmission. Suspension geometry, we're doing negative 2.5, negative 1.8. 0.08 and 0.36. I think suspension running 3736 5 somewhere. Running 154 on the brakes. 155 on the brakes, and I decided to go back and change that to 90 for the diff on throttle to 90. As it gives me a bit of stability. Tyre pressure's out the middle. So we head into the first Q1 lap time. Qualifying lap time here in Q1. A little bit wide out the final corner, but that is fine because up to the line we set a 1 minute 31.7, which puts us ahead of Ricciardo, just behind Norris and Stroll in P8. I think that's it. But we get dropped down to P10 as I went for a cooldown lap, and this is my best lap of the weekend, so I'm going to commentate it. So here we go then, down the main straight, open up DRS, and you want to look either for the start of the curb by braking not that hard, or the 100 meter board really hard. I look for the 100 meter board, brake really hard, just missed my apex at turn 1, run it a little bit wide, but it's fine. As now I go down the open up DRS on the second straight. I'll brake at the 100 meter board down to 3rd or 4th. 4th I tend to spin out. As we end sector 1 with a 29.1, and we're about 6/10 up, I think it says there. As we come down into the hairpin and second gear, you want to short up to 3rd and 4th. Now to the tricky bit, you want to brake as you hit the curve, as you just narrowly missed a curve there. We go down 2nd, short up to 3rd, 4th, open up DRS again for the 3rd time, although 2nd time on the lap. As we're 6/10 up now, going into turn 11 and 12. As we go through the fast right-hander and into here, you want to brake just, I think, just before the Rolex sign on the right, as we are 6/10 up still, so we're keeping our pace as we go down into the final corner where we know we can gain some time. Brake just in the middle of the 150 meter board, well, the 50 and the 100 metre VOD. As we now come up to the line, open up DRS and across the line, and we set a 1 minute 31.1. So again 6 tenths and puts us up to P17. But I needed this last lap as we're now in P20. But we are 3 tenths down already. Going into the fast right hand dirt. I took a little bit too much curb and we've actually spun out here. And we clout the wall, rear wing on the wall, and we get some slight damage on the rear wing. But that is qualifying over for us. We're going to be starting the race in P20. But we could be starting it higher up as Jack Aitken and Vettel, even though it doesn't say there, got a 5-place grid penalty. As now looking at acclaim, we stayed the same pretty much, but we move up to level 6 as a team. So now we're all ready for the first race of the season. So let's head into the Bahrain Grand Prix and let's see if we can maybe get some points in our first race of the year.
Months of rumour and speculation all come to an end today as we return to racing for the opening event of what promises to be an enthralling season. Welcome along then to round 1 of this year's Formula 1 World Championship. We'll be racing around 3.36 miles of the magnificent Bahrain International Circuit today. Keep an eye out for drivers locking the front left down into the tricky braking zone of turn 10. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Perez, and Sir Lewis Hamilton, and Russell, Bottas, Ocon, Tsunoda, and Mick Schumacher, Gasly, Norris, Guan Yu Zhou, and Ricciardo, Stroll, Aitken, Fernando Alonso, and Alex Albon. Davies, Vettel, they've taken a grid penalty. Latifi and Kevin Magnussen fills the last spot on the grid. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. A new season then, a clean slate where anything could happen. Anthony Davidson is with me today as once again we get another year of Formula 1 underway.
We're into those tense few minutes before the first race then. Everyone's a little bit nervous about reliability. They haven't been running in the hot, turbulent wake of other cars in practice. They've not been pushing at 100% for long durations. Let's hope no one has to deal with any nasty surprises.
Right then, so here we are then on the grid for the Bahrain Grand Prix, and we're starting P19 due to Sebastian Vettel picking up a penalty, as I mentioned. Now race strategy is going to be a one-stop from medium to hard. We're going to box, well, we're hoping to box lap 15 and go on to hards until the end of the race. Fuel, I'm going to put 0.8, nope, 0.3 extra in. So yeah, and gonna try and edit the strategy, but don't think it is going to be good enough, as we're going to increase the rear tire pressures just so I can get some more heat into them, because I think I was struggling with some grip in qualifying. So yeah, we're going to check the race director and see what else, what other tyres other people are on, as everybody's on mediums. Great, right, everybody's doing the same strategy, medium to hard. So now we're going to get into the formation lap, and I'm not going to show you the full formation lap. I'm just going to show you the start and the end, as you want to run low like about 8 to 9,000 RPM for the start to stop the wheel spin. So we get a good launch, to be honest, and now we just gonna make our way around and learn the gears and everything, as the tyres are pretty warm, but they will cool off very quickly, as I'm just going to try and get as much heat into the tyres as possible. As now I move to the end of the formation lap, and I've set it to immersive so we get to park it ourselves. And now we're going to try, I tried doing a better, it didn't work. But we're just going to line up on our grid slot now, get green score, which is good, but it's not quite optimal. So now we're just going to keep our eye on the lights, as now they come on now, so we'll go to 5 red lights. 3, 4, 5 red lights for the Bahrain Grand Prix, and it's lights out, and away we go. It's a good start for us, not in the first phase, but in the second phase we gain a lot of speed on the people, on the drivers ahead of us as we go around the outside. We'll try to go around the outside, but we brake a little bit too late. I'm going to the back of Lance Stroll. We get a little bit we get some front wing damage here already into before we even get to turn 1 of lap 1 on the first race. Which isn't good, as we get a double warning for collision with Stroll. So we're going to have to pit at the end of this lap, as going through right-handers, it's not really noticeable, as Joe now loses his front wing after making contact with Lando Norris, so we get around the outside of him into turn 4. But the left-handers I'm struggling with because we don't have a right front wing end plate, so we're going to pick up some mistake. But I'm going to decline and go to the hards, but I'm actually going to box this lap and go to straight to the hard tyres, as we go a little bit wide there into turn 10, as we lose a couple of positions to Stroll and Joe Guan Yu. Basically we're going to box this lap for hard tyres, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but we are going to try to go to the end of the race on the hard tyres. We're going to be a bit slow on the first couple of laps we've got them on, because they're going to be cold, but once we get them up to temperature we can just push, hopefully, and not try to put too much wear on them. So as Jack Aitken's going to have a look around the outside here into the final corner, but it's not going to be good for us, as Joe pits ahead of us, as we're going to come in, and also our teammate is going to come in as well, as you can see in the background, as we're using the broadcast option for the pit stops. And yeah, I'm hoping to get the Jeddah video, actually. I'm hoping to get the Jeddah video out tomorrow, as the number disappears. That's a glitch. Now, they have fixed it. Well, they've fixed it for PC, as we move now on to lap 2. They've fixed it for PC, but they haven't fixed it for console yet. But as you can see, the wheel, do you see the wheel there? It was like kind of robotic and getting stuck. That happens a lot, it did, throughout this race. I don't think it'll come out the last corner. No, it's fine another around the last corner. But I've been having some wheel issues, to be fair. It comes across again in Jeddah, as I've already recorded that one. But is it going to do it again? Like, my wheel just keeps, like, my in-game wheel kept juttering. And then I kept losing force feedback on my actual wheel that I use, as we now look at the race start again. So we go to 5 red lights, and it's lights out and away we go, as Charles Leclerc started alongside Max Verstappen, but Leclerc actually didn't get a good start compared to Verstappen, and so Verstappen is going to lead into turn 1. And maybe Carlos Sainz is going to have a look at the inside of Charles Leclerc. And we get that, as there's the contact between that caused Jack Aitken to come into the pits as well. So it's not very good. It's not a very good start for the 141 Motorsport team, as Aitken is now defending against one of the Williamses, as we saw the contact with Joe and Stroll. As there's the race, there was the pole sitter, Charles Leclerc, now behind Max Verstappen, as they now come out of turn 10 and going into sector 3. as it's Verstappen led by Leclerc, Sainz, Hamilton, Russell, and then one of the Alpines, and then Hamilton, and then Perez. No, it's Ocon. So it's Max Verstappen who leads the way, then followed by Leclerc, Sainz, Russell, Ocon, Hamilton, and Sergio Perez, who he was quite actually far down. He's pretty much Ocon is pretty much best of the rest as they come down into the final corner, followed by Bottas, Tsunoda, and Schumacher outside top 10 at the moment. But we now look at the replay of Aitken's start, as he got a good start compared to Stroll in the first phase, but in the second phase he pulls alongside here, then he extends it up the inside, but there's just nowhere to go. It's 3 wide between 2 McLarens and Alfa Romeo. I think Joe Guan Yu, and there's a Williams just poking his wing there, and then there's the end plate flying off Jack Aitken as we pop through on the inside there. Now on to lap number 5, and you see about wheel issue again. It's getting stuck or something. But Jack Aitken is going to have the DRS because we had such a terrible exit out of the final corner. He's actually going to pull alongside and actually overtake us way before turn 1. So this could be a repeat of what happened on F1 2021, where we just stayed at the back for most of the races, apart from Austria, and I think one other race as well, where we got points. Yeah, you see, we got a little bit of loosey-goosey there. Is the wheel going to do it again? I think it does it into here, I'm not sure. Kind of, it got stuck a little bit. Yeah, it does do it in Jeddah, I'll tell you that much. That's what I'm saying. But, yeah. I think it's because of the weather, so in the UK at the moment. It's a bit warm. I'll say that. But we are sticking with Jack Aitken here on lap 6, but he will probably pull away as he is on the soft tyres. If we go a little bit wide there, pick up a little bit of understeer. But I think it's due to dirty air. I think it's just due to the tyres not heated up. As now we on to lap 8, and Jack Aitken's actually pulled away here. He's pulled a 2-second gap to us as one of the Aston Martins is in the pit lane. I think we'll find out in a minute, is Sebastian Vettel in the pit lane. And also Joe Guan Yu has just pitted off of his softs as well. So we may actually not be last by the end of this straight, as we go a little bit wide again through the final corner. But as we come across the line, we now move up into P21, 22, and the hards are up to temperature, but like they're in perfect temperature range. It's just I think that maybe the setup is not quite right, or or I'm just putting the throttle on a little bit too early.
Okay, so the car behind's just come in.
As now we move on to lap number 10/11, as we're looking at Ocon here in P6, so he's got overtaken by Lewis Hamilton. As we go into the hairpin here, he's actually done a whoopsie and he's spun around here, so he's lost the back end, and there's a yellow flag, which is not good for the Frenchman, as we get an onboard replay, as I think he just loops it around. He had no ERS deployed, so it wasn't due to DRS, it's just heavy foot. Then I'll go on board with Valtteri Bottas, and yeah, no, he wasn't near anything, he just put the power down too early. As now we go back to the live action, and this is what I mean by lap 10, because when it happened it was lap 10 for me. We're going to lap 11, the safety car gets deployed due to Ocon's spin and him, as he was stuck on the track. He couldn't move, as there's the safety car, and I take a wide line into turn 1 because I didn't know where the safety car was, because there isn't a proximity arrow for the safety car. So now we're going to go to the end of the safety car and we're going to watch Max Verstappen here, the race leader at the moment, on lap number 14. The safety car is coming in this lap, and all we've got to wait for now is when is Max Verstappen going to bolt. Is he going to bolt? He's not leaving his tyres, and he's gone. He has bolted. And has he caught Leclerc napping? No, not really, because Leclerc is gaining on him down the straights. So he didn't really get a good bolt launch there. As we go back to our POV, as we get a good launch compared to Nicholas Latifi here. As we now go down the main straight to start lap number 15, we've got green flag running again. We're back to full racing speed. We're going to look to the outside of Nicholas Latifi, and that's going to turn. We work a little bit later compared to the others. I'm going to ask you to turn into an inside move down the inside of not only Sebastian Vettel but also Kevin Magnussen, as Latifi and Vettel are now going side by side. As Norris has got a poor exit as he was fighting side by side with Esteban Ocon, so we're going to take the opportunity to go down the inside of Lando Norris and Esteban Ocon into turn 4. So we've got both of them napping, as both Alex Albon and Fernando Alonso going side by side out of turn 4, and we're going to slot in here as we move, as we're now up into P14 as we end the first sector of lap 15. As now we're going to send up the inside of Lance Stroll. Are we going to get Alonso? Not quite, but we do get quite close to him. Just got on the brakes just in time, as we now have a replay of the off-board cameras of that move. So we go to the outside, we brake a little bit later compared to them two, and we just send it up the inside of them two, of Magnussen and Vettel, as you can see them two going side by side, Vettel and Latifi. But now we're going to move on to lap number 16 now, as we are in the slipstream of Alex Albon, as some people are pit, including Mick Schumacher, I think. I don't know if that's just their original pit stop or their thing. As we get quite close to Fernando Alonso there, as we dive down the inside of Alex Albon though. So up into P9 then, and we are now in the points, as we now look on to lap 18, and Ocon is closing up behind. I'm struggling with my medium tyres, no not medium, my hard tyres, but I think we can definitely go to the end. They've definitely gone past their new grip, like most grip phase of the tyres, but we haven't got much ERS to deploy down this straight, as Ocon's going to come out as a 8 knots with DRS. He's going to go to the inside, and I'm going to let him go through. I'm going to try and stick with the Frenchman, who had his spin earlier on lap 11, which caused the safety car. So now we get quite close to him, get quite close to Ocon there, as we now go into the final corner, and we go a little bit deep on the brakes, but we managed to get the corner. We're gonna get DRS, and the plan is to stick with Ocon and let Ocon drag us along to the group of cars in front. As we get another glitch thing with our wheel, so hopefully that's fixed by round 3, as I've already recorded round 2, as I've said. But we've got DRS again, so all we're going to do is just try to stick within Esteban Ocon's DRS if we can. And now we move on to lap number 22, and my plan has actually worked, as we get close to Ocon, a bit closer to Ocon than we were to Alonso, as tyres are 46% worn on the rear left. So yeah, but now Ocon has the DRS from Bottas, who has the DRS from a car in front, which is the Mercedes of George Russell, I think, or it's either one of the AlphaTauri. I think it's from the AlphaTauris of Tsunoda. Yeah, in P7. But as they now come into the final corner, and Esteban Ocon's engine's just blown up in our faces. Well, that's good. And Ocon actually tries to send out the inside, but he can't, as that forces me wide. But Esteban Ocon, engine failure in front of our faces. Tsunoda pits, thinking there's going to be a safety car, but we don't know. Esteban Ocon is out of the race, but if there is a safety car, which I don't think there will be, then Tsunoda could have made a genius call there. But there is no safety car to be deployed, so we're back to green flag running. But now we're outside the DRS window, as Perez is going to try to look for a move up the inside, but we get the traction around the outside there, and Perez has to now wait. But we're now going to go to the end of lap 23, and Perez is extremely close as we check the tyre status. As Perez actually sent it over the inside there, going into the final corner, but we now got DRS on him because we were behind him at the detection point, but we're back ahead of him on the exit as I squeezed him out. There's now Norris and Perez both going to go side by side. Norris gets past Perez going into turn 1. And he's going to look for moving to turn 1. No, he's not. We cover the inside lot. We go straight to the apex to try cover him off. But do we get a good exit? Not really, but we do. But we don't have DRS, so we could be vulnerable to Lando Norris as now we go into turn 4. He's going to try and look his nose up the inside there, but not quite, as we're going to stay on board here, see if Norris can catch up to us. He's going to catch it through the left-right bits. He does by about a couple of tenths, to be fair. But I am good on my traction, as racing without a racing line, which I have forgotten to say at the moment, but yes, I am now not racing the racing line. I have turned that off for this game, as I'm now not using the racing line anymore. My next assist to turn off, and next and final assist to turn off, is traction control, as we go a little bit loose there out of the left-hander of the second DRS straight, as that's going to invite Lando Norris maybe for a move, as we don't quite get a good, we do get a good exit, but Lando Norris is 2 tenths behind us, so he will have a good run as we go down the inside of the final corner, and we do a similar move to what we did on Perez, but we don't get the DRS this time, so we're going to be vulnerable to both Norris and Perez. And then straight, Norris goes to the right, I go to the left, thinking that Perez, to cover Perez off, he thinks he goes to the left, but he goes to the right, and now they're going to go side by side into turn 2, and as Perez gets squeezed out, he doesn't get a good exit, but we do, so we're going to try and have a look. We're going to open up the DRS, and we're going to try catch Perez napping as we now go to the went to the inside, go to the fake to the outside, as we go around the outside of Perez into turn 4, as we're going to get the traction, are we? Yes, we are, and we're going to squeeze him out? Yes, we are going to squeeze him out. We're going to go around the outside into the S section, which you don't really see many moves take place there, but going into the hairpin, we are ahead of Perez in P9, but we now have lost DRS to Norris, with us battling with Sergio there. But now we go down to turn 10 actually, Perez actually goes a little bit wide at turn 10, and that causes the other flags to be called out, but there's going to be no safety car or anything, as the AI do like to do that. But now we've got a 2-second gap cushion to Lance Stroll, who is now overtaken Perez, and so was Joe Guan Yu. So that's costed Perez a lot of time there, going a little bit deeper on the brakes into turn 10. As now we're going to move on to the penultimate lap of the race. We're going to move on to lap 28 of this Bahrain Grand Prix, and Stroll and Perez are going to go side by side into the final corner. They've caught up to me. I was trying to save the tyres, but now we're going to have to push like crazy. Going on to the final lap of the race, and I think we've got the gap on Perez and Stroll on this straight, but Stroll and Perez are getting quite close, so Stroll's going to look for it down the inside of turn 1, but we're going to get the traction down on the outside. We're going to squeeze him out into turn 2 as we get a good move. But now we're going to go and look at Charles Leclerc, who has taken the lead again. He's overtaken Max Verstappen at some point during the race, probably after the safety car restart, because you saw how much Leclerc gained on Max Verstappen just down the main straight alone at this on the safety car restart. As now Charles Leclerc is going to come round the final corner now, and he's set to win the Bahrain Grand Prix, and he's going to cross the line now to win the Bahrain Grand Prix, the opening round of the season, and it's going to be Max Verstappen who will finish in P2 with Ferrari getting a double podium with Carlos Sainz finishing P3, with then the two Mercedes behind them in P4 and P5 respectively. And then we go back to our POV with the fight between us, Perez and Joe, as Stroll has been overtaken by Joe Guanyu. But we're going to come around the final corner now, and we're going to get points in our first race. So I think picking the middle option for this career mode was the correct option, because we are getting some good races in as we finish in 9th place. And after we've gained 10 places, and we have earned the driver of the day here in Sakhir.
And here's our winner, pulling their Ferrari into Parc Ferme after a fantastic race. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, time management probably played quite a large role in the outcome of this one. As ever, it's not just about speed, it's all about maintaining that speed consistently over a stint, over a race distance. So being able to keep up the lap times while still being smooth on the controls and gentle on the tyres, that's really where the race was won today.
Looking at the podium, you can see that red suit familiar to fans across the globe. A world-class win for a world-class team. Ferrari do it again. Let's have a look then at the driver's standings. Charles Leclerc assumes the lead in the standings after today's outstanding results. Well, after an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
I have to give it to Davis. There was a lot going on all down the field, but they were the only one who I really felt maximised their potential.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Ferrari take the lead at the top of the table. Well, that was certainly an exciting weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for more exciting Formula One action very soon.
Right then, so there we have it then, guys. The Bahrain Grand Prix race number 1 done and dusted. And we had a pretty good race there. So it was Charles Leclerc who picked up the win then, and the fastest lap and pole position, so got the full Grand Slam, with Max Verstappen finishing behind him and Carlos Sainz in P3 right off the podium. Just missing out on podium, we've got George Russell and Lewis Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, Bottas, Norris, myself, which we gained 10 places, and Sergio Perez. Just missing out on points, we've got Joe Guanyu, Lance Stroll, Jack Aitken, Albon, Tsunoda, Latifi, Ricciardo, Gasly, Vettel, Magnussen, Schumacher, and Ocon, the only retiree from the race. So, standing wise, the drivers is the same. Constructors, we are in P7, 2 points behind McLaren, which is good. Acclaim, we nearly got up to level 2, so that's good. And we're about halfway through level 6 on the Team Acclaim. Sponsor bonus, we get the sponsor bonus because we completed a race without cutting a single corner. So we get an extra 127k, and we get an extra 70k from damage thing, but we've got damage 30k worth of damage deductions from the pair of us, so we've got 4.43 million in the bank. As we now head back to the R&D to the HQ screen, and we'll do some upgrades, as we have nothing pending before Jeddah, apart from we have a Pirelli hot laps before the weekend. But we're going to do a... no, I'm just looking at upgrades. As we're going to do a... chassis... no, maybe not. I'm looking at options like see if they're going to come before Australia. Or Miami. Oh no, Imola. Is it? No, I don't know. But anyway, we bought a central under tray which is going to come before Australia, I think. said, which was good. I'm going to buy a overwheel winglet, which is going to come before Australia, so that's also good. We've got 270 R&D points, so we've spent all of them. And activities wise, we're just going to do simulator training, and yeah, that's going to pretty much round off the video then for episode 1 of my F1 22 My Team Career Mode. Next time out we go to Jeddah, so hope you can catch me then, but if you can't, then just leave a like, subscribe for more F1 content, and we'll see you in maybe tomorrow for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. But that's it from me. I've been Owen141, your commentator for today and for the rest of them. But hope you guys have a good day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out and goodbye.